Damn.
Doing today, July 14th, 2017. Welcome to the Political Jargon Show. Yeah. So we got a lot of news stories to talk about today. First of all, how do you like the new? Hey, everybody, welcome. What's up? I'm the host of Political Jargon today. Got a lot of news stories to talk to you guys about. A lot of different things going on in the world that we should discuss. A lot of different things that is happening. So, you know, going on from CNN and Paul Begala calling for complete and total blowing up of Russia. We got Jesse Waters going absolutely crazy on the 5 last night. We're talking about the Senate healthcare bill and a lot of other economic things for the Trump agenda, and obviously the biggest focal point is the Donald Trump Jr. email scandal that is happening across the country right now. So, you know, open the comments, start laying down your thoughts on some of these things that we're talking about today. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the new style of show that we're doing today. I really want to get into doing things live and interacting with people. I think it'll be good. So this is the first time I'm doing this live. So I will be checking my phone because I have tweeted out that we have gone live. So hopefully I can get some people on Twitter to join, and maybe we can kind of get somebody who's just browsing by on YouTube to join us as well. So this is the first time I'm going live. The setup is not perfect. I hope that you guys also enjoy the new mic quality. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to go live. So this is definitely something I want to do because of the mic quality that's really good right now. And so definitely. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. Let's go ahead and get right into the news. So first things first is I want to get into the what Paul Begdala said. He's a Democratic strategist. He was on Crossfire on CNN with Tucker Carlson, actually, and Jon Stewart went on there and absolutely demolished both of them, and it was great back in 2004. It was super nice. So here is exactly what he's talking to a panel on CNN on Anderson Cooper's show, I think probably last night, I believe. And so he's talking about how all these different things are happening, and basically anybody in the world should be upset at Russia, and therefore that's reason enough to go to war. You know, I'm gonna assume blowing up means going to war. So let's take a look at this video and see exactly what's going on. So CNN polls Begdala suggest on live TV that the United States should, quote, blow up Russia. So let's go ahead and take a look and take a listen, and I'll come back and give you my thoughts on this.
With Mr. Kushner and Mr. Manafort in the meeting, we were and are under attack by a hostile foreign power, and they seem to be abetting that hostile foreign power. We should be debating how many sanctions we should place on Russia, or whether we should blow up the KGB or GSU, GRU. I mean, we should be retaliating massively. Because, by the way, if I were a Trump supporter, I would want to retaliate massively because it has tainted his victory.
Okay, so obviously what he said was ridiculous. I have the transcript right up here. So He was a key Clinton ally, according to Mediaite. So he's basically saying that, okay, so since we have some flimsy evidence that Russia may have done something, that's enough reason to go in and put sanctions on them and blow up the KGB, GSU, or GRU. Those are all militant groups in Russia, and obviously some a part of the Soviet Union back in the day. So when you start an offensive war, you're not the good guy. Germany, Hitler's Germany wasn't the good guy when they invaded Poland. You know, Italy wasn't the good guy when they invaded Northern Africa. None of these people in history, Napoleon wasn't a good guy. All these different people. So I don't understand why we can't hold ourselves to the same standard as those awful, awful people. Why do we, as a people, why do we need to first of all start offensive wars? That's ridiculous. I don't want to be a part of a country that starts an offensive war. Are you crazy? Why should I be a part of a country that's doing the things that I don't like about other countries? Okay? So and this is the thing, man. So Democrats are pushing this Russia narrative, and Donald Trump is he tries to be such an alpha male. It's ridiculous. What he wants to do is it eats him up that he didn't win the popular vote, right? So he didn't win the popular vote, and he knows it. He lost by more than 3 million people. So his ego is shot. So when the Democrats go up there and say, Russia, 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 he wants to do something to prove himself that he's not like this weak, pathetic loser, you know? Because in his world, he runs everything based off of, as a 7-year-old would say it. You're a loser. You're a big loser. Fake news. So as Rachel Maddow and as Keith Olbermann and as this guy Paul Begdala keeps pushing this Russia thing, we are most likely going to go to war with Russia, not because of Trump and his administration, but because the Democrats kept pushing Trump to go to war with Russia. So I don't like this type of narrative coming from the Democrats as it is, because first of all, as it stands, it blocks out and it covers the news cycle when we should be going after Medicare for all and affordable college and the student debt crisis, which is a big crisis that could harm everybody if the student debt bubble bursts. You know, we've got all these different issues going on. We should be talking about even more so North Korea to an extent. We should be talking more about North Korea than anything else. Than Russia. We should be talking about the minimum wage and all these, and Flint is still going on. We should be talking about East Chicago. All these different water crises going on. You want to spend more money on war while people in our own country don't have clean water. That's what I don't understand. And he's apparently a Democratic strategist for Clinton. And then you wonder why Clinton lost the election, you know. And then he goes on to say, if I was a Trump supporter, I would want to retaliate massively because it has tainted his victory. Yes, let's make Trump so much that more ecstatic to go to war. Let's do that. That's a good move. That should be taught of, and that should be a good move by everybody. What is happening? Why are we talking about going to war with Russia? This is not okay. This is not normal. I don't understand why this is a thing. Why are people doing this? Like, stop. Rachel Maddow, Keith Olbermann, basically Joy Reese or whatever her name is. This guy, stop pushing the Russian narrative. because doing that is making our chances of doing something against Russia that much more possible and probable, and that I don't like that. Nobody on MSNBC is talking about net neutrality or healthcare or education or infrastructure or how to stop the United States from being in 7 different interventions right now, whether it be full out boots on the ground or just drone strikes. We are in 7 countries. That is unbelievably stupid that nobody else is talking about these issues, which are more important in the eyes of the American people than Russia. A grandma in Kansas isn't waking up going, I wonder what Vladimir Putin is doing today. Nobody is doing that. Nobody should be doing that. The only people who do that are people on MSNBC. That grandma in Kansas, they're more worried about paying the electric bill, paying for medicine, which is ridiculously expensive, paying for her health care, paying for food, paying for rent. All of these different issues, how to make the lives of the American people better, is not what the Democrats are focused on right now. What they're focused on is Russia and Russia and Russia, Russia, Russia. Elizabeth Warren, the second best senator we have in the United States Senate, by a long shot, came on the Young Turks, and Cenk Uygur asked her, what's an issue that the Democrats should focus on in 2018? She goes, well, I think this Russia thing is a big story. That was like a month and a half before the Donald Trump Jr. emails came out. And even with the Donald Trump Jr. emails, it's still not that big of an issue. So I don't understand why people think that this is a great idea. That pushing this Russia narrative will somehow, solve the problem of Donald Trump, whether it be impeachment, whether it just be such a low approval rating that Republicans, moderate Republicans, have to turn against Trump to distance himself so that they can win re-election, and then by 2020 Trump's not going to have any friends in the establishment, and he's going to get voted out. Either Pence is going to run against the Democratic nominee, or they're going to buckle up with Trump and maybe win, but somehow know that they're going to lose, because by that point, nobody really knows. But I don't understand why this narrative keeps going. Why are people still pushing this narrative? It doesn't make any sense to. You're not getting any benefit from it. The Democrats aren't going to win in 2018 if they push this Russia thing. So why do they keep doing it? Because they have nothing else to push for. They're centrist Democrats. They're Republicans at heart. Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi didn't condemn Trump for his Syria attack. They praised him. They said it was the one thing he did that was okay, that was good. They're all bought out. Joe Manchin, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, on the state level in California, they're all bought out by the health insurance agencies. That's why California wasn't able to get a single-payer system pushed through earlier this month. Jimmy Dore does excellent reporting on that because he lives in California. He's affected by it. They are pushing for these kind of things. Nobody cares about Russia. Now, obviously, the Donald Trump Jr. emails are a big thing, and I think he should go to jail, but that's still not enough to impeach Trump. And so the Democrats need to push for an agenda, because they don't have an agenda. What's their economic position on taxes going into 2018? Taxes are going to be used to fund the government, which is now being controlled by a Kremlin puppet, so we got to get rid of all taxes. Or push our taxes so far. Like, what kind of position is that? You can't pin infrastructure. We don't want any Russian spies to start building our roads, so we're not going to do any infrastructure bill whatsoever. How do you put Russia into all of these different issues that actually affect the American people, and that Republicans don't know how to handle? The unemployment rate always is higher when a Democrat takes power after a Republican president, whether it be 2 or 4 years, or 4 or 8 years. The debt and the deficit is always exploded. We have usually economic unsustainability, as shown by the Bush years and both Bush years and the Reagan years, which has contrary to what Republicans say, it's boom-bust cycles where the economy takes off and then it collapses again. So under Republican presidents, the economy suffers way more than Democratic presidents. Bill Clinton left Bush a surplus. I forget the exact number. Bush took over that surplus, meaning we were getting more money than we were spending. The government was spending on, Medicare, Social Security, infrastructure, the military, but we still had more money coming from taxes and revenue than the money we were spending out. So Bill Clinton left Bush a surplus. Bush put 2 wars on a credit card and helped, along with Clinton, started with Reagan, helped deregulate the financial industry. And after Bush, we had a $1.2 trillion deficit, meaning every year we were adding $1.2 trillion to the debt. That's what a deficit is. Obama comes into office, and despite what Fox News will tell you, he cut the deficit in half to about $650 billion. So Democrats do better with the economy. That's just a fact. Unemployment right now is about 5% to 5.3%. And I would say none of it is Trump's doing. And if any of it is Trump's doing, it's like 5% or less. We're still under the Obama economy, So talk to me in 4 years, talk to me in 3 years when we're up for 2020 right now, or 2019, I guess. No, 2020. And let's see how well the economy's doing. Let's see how well unemployment is. Let's see what gas prices are. Let's see what a gallon of milk costs. Let's see how many countries we've invaded or attacked in those 4 years. The Democrats aren't running with a real strategy, and Russia will never be a real strategy until we get some actual evidence. Until we get some actual evidence, there will be no story with Russia, and Democrats need to focus on the actual issues. They want to scream and testify about this unity test about progressives and center Democrats. We need to meet in the middle and go for someone like Clinton, who was a centrist Democrat, and that's the unity test we should be having. No, the unity test we should be having is whether or not Democrats want to get behind the most popular senator in America right now, and that is Bernie Sanders, the guy who is a 96-year-old Jew, maybe atheist, senator from Vermont who had no name recognition, who always talks like this, and the huge tax cuts that the bank and the millionaires and the billionaires, 0.1% now owns more money and wealth than the bottom 50% of Americans. My brother and sisters, that is not okay. Talks crazy, talks with his hands, talks in this deep Brooklyn accent, who had 0 to 2% name recognition at the start of the election when he announced in April, and by the end of it won almost half the states, kept up with votes with Hillary Clinton, and managed to come out with more favorability after the election than Trump, the RNC, the DNC, and Hillary Clinton, and Mike Pence. So the purity test we should be having is whether or not, okay, listen, you want to be a Democrat? Are you for Medicare for all? Are you for an infrastructure plan that will create the New Deal? Are you for passive intervention, only intervention for self-defense, and starting to pull out of the countries that we are in right now? Are you for making college more affordable? Are you for making the minimum wage a living wage and tying it to inflation? Are you for all of these things? Congratulations. Now, obviously, we can disagree on the substance. Are you for a living wage? Yeah, I am, but I'm more of like a $12 guy than a $15 guy. Okay. Are you more pro-choice or pro-life? Well, I believe in pro-choice, but there's a lot of caveats and nuance in there. I believe that after a certain point, once the fully developed nervous system has been developed, the baby can feel, and therefore I believe that's when it scientifically is considered a human being, and it should be banned after that. only allowing it in certain cases of rape, incest, life endangerment of the mother, or fatal defect in the baby, where the baby's going to be born, but it's going to die when it's born. So if the mother wants to get it aborted, okay, it's already dead. So, nuances like that. The only one that I can think of, the only two I can think of is the military spending and what kind of interventions we should be doing, and healthcare. It's got to be Medicare for all. Now, whether it's one big national government doing it to all 50 states or each state doing it representatively in their own state, which I believe may be a better option than just doing it once in one big national sense. That's something that's really the only purity test for Democrats that I see right now. That's the only thing I could think of as to whether or not you should be a Democrat or not. So stupid CNN stuff like this, pushing this Russia thing, is ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it just proves that the Democrats have no strategy going forward. All right, so since this is live, I can't really stop to restart again. I'm going to go ahead and take a break real quick, and we'll be right back with Fox News, and I'll try to talk about the Republicans and their plan for healthcare and the economy coming up relatively soon. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. I'm just trying to pick a song. I'm basically just trying to get a drink. We'll be right back to talk about Jesse Waters and how ridiculous sounding he is on the 5 last night. So, so let's get on to my favorite segment for today. This is going to be Jesse Waters on Fox News's The 5. Basically, everything he says here is ridiculous, and I'm going to explain why. Let's take a listen.
Okay. Butt in for 1 second here. I'm very sick of the left calling the Trump family unpatriotic. They're now the McCarthyites. Let's remember what party defeated the Soviet Union while the Democratic Party was trying to appease and mimic communism. Yes. Democrats have been cozying up to dictators and our enemies for years, giving the Iranians billions of dollars, giving the North Koreans billions of dollars, shaking Hugo Chavez's hand, shaking Castro's hands. The Clintons were taking money from Chinese nationals in the 1996 re-election campaign and then selling satellite technology to the Chinese that enabled their missile program to blow up. The media colluded with the Democrats, letting Hillary cheat during the debates. President Obama palling around with domestic terrorists sitting in the same church as an American-hating preacher. The Democrats undermining the military.
Let me just say this:
giving birth to ISIS, lying about a terrorist attack on the eve of the election. No, let me finish.
How much can we take?
Donald Trump's family has done more for this country than any Democrat elected official. He has provided more jobs in the real estate industry, in the fashion industry, in the hotel and casino industry. He's created more wealth for anybody in this entire country. So to smear them as mafia or unpatriotic is absolutely shameful. And I think everybody needs to wake up and realize this family is a patriotic family. And what's happening right now is a coup against the will of the American people.
If Greg is backpedaling, you are skating, and you're skating fast to try to get away.
I'm doing figure eights around you, Juan.
You're doing figure eights around Donald Trump.
Okay. All right. There's so much bullshit in that 1 minute and 45 seconds I have ever seen. All right. So let's go ahead and just break that down. So I'm going to put the video back on.
Let me just butt in for one.
So he's going to butt in for just 1 second. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Jesse Waters. Go ahead and butt in for just 1 second
here. I'm very sick of the left calling the Trump family unpatriotic.
And I was very upset about the right calling Obama's family unpatriotic and calling Michelle Obama ugly and a dump truck and comparing her to an ape. Is that fair, Jesse Waters? Am I fair to get upset just like you were getting upset? All right, let's continue.
Now, the McCarthyites. Let's remember what part
McCarthyites is McCarthyism, where back in the 50s, Joe McCarthy, a Republican senator, said that just started calling everybody communists. Just started calling everybody communists. And it was this big legal battle where he was actually starting to get some notable actors and filmmakers and all these different things that compared to communism, and it was hurting America more than anything. Obviously, he was decimated in a court of law, but I would just like to point out that same Republican Party all of a sudden just assumed that everybody who believes in Islam or is a Muslim has to be a terrorist, and my evidence for that is Guantanamo Bay, where the CIA proved that when Bush asked for nations to turn over terrorists and not face any penalties, and the United States would take them, that when we got them from Afghanistan, they were nothing but political opposition to the reigning party in Afghanistan, and so they were nothing more than just innocent civilians. So you're still pushing that narrative as well. Trump on the campaign trail, we should bomb them and their families, talking about killing terrorist families in Middle Eastern countries because you were already assuming that they're going to do something bad. That's McCarthyism. They're rapists, they're drug dealers, and some, I assume, maybe are quite possibly sometimes, some of the time, but not all of the time, I assume can only be due to the rule of math that some people still have to be good people. Okay, so you're already assuming that a Mexican is a rapist, a drug dealer, a killer, and you assume that some maybe are good people. That you're not even quite sure that there are good Mexicans out there. That's what you're saying. That's literally what you're saying. So the Republican Party is still the McCarthyites. Okay, and yes, that point is fair. The Democrats are going crazy and doing McCarthyism all over the place, but every political party is equal to it, and I just see it worse from the right because they have a whole network of McCarthyism for the past 21 years. So I'll give him half a point on that, but his outrage is selective, and it's partisan, and it's hack. And that's all Jesse Waters is a partisan hack. All right, let's continue this video.
Party defeated the Soviet Union while the Democratic Party was trying to appease and mimic communism.
Yes.
Democrats have been cozying up to dictators and our enemies for years, giving them...
I'm going to let them continue. And, of course, Kimberly Guilfoyle has to come and still do.
Iranians billions of dollars, giving the North Koreans billions of dollars, shaking Hugo Chavez's hand, shaking Castro's hands.
Okay, one, the nuclear deal with Iran didn't give Iran our own money. That's a false Republican talking point. We had sanctions on Iran. It brought them to the table. Obama and John Kerry negotiated. Obama's team negotiated with Iran. The resulting deal from Iran was you can't produce uranium up to a certain point, which that point only allowed for them to fund and power their power grid, their electric grid, because they were running on nuclear power at the time and for their power grid. So what that did was, not only could they not do that, you had the IAEA, the International Energy the International Atomic Energy Association or something like that, up Iran's ass all the time. On page 2, did Jesse Waters read the Iran nuclear deal? I read half of it. No, I read about 40% of it. On page 2, it said, you cannot develop nuclear weapons. Is he just stupid, or is he playing a character? I can't tell. I'm going to go with the former. I think Jesse Waters is just stupid. Okay? And, so the Iran point is completely false. We didn't give them money. We gave them back their own money, which we put a freeze on when we put sanctions on them. So not only are they not able to build nuclear weapons, but they're only the IAEA is up their ass all the time. So their reward for it is you can have your own money back. But this partisan hack can't understand that, or understands it but doesn't care about the facts, so he just pushes his own bullshit talking point. And then North Korea, what the fuck? For the past 4 decades we've done nothing but leave North Korea alone. So you're blaming Obama's policy on North Korea. Then every president for the past 4 decades has to be held to the same standard and is just as bad at their North Korea policy as Obama was in Jesse Waters' eyes, because we've done the same fucking policy. So the selective bullshit outrage that Jesse Waters is showing right here is completely, undeniably stupid. And then Obama cozying up with Castro. Look, my family escaped Cuba, so I don't have any favors towards Castro. I think Castro, both of them, Fidel and Raul, are the scum of the earth. But that isn't my fight anymore. We're not in 1963. We're not in 1962. That country has been blockaded and completely out of touch with all of the Western world forever, because the United States failed at doing what it does best and overthrow governments. So the Bay of Pigs happens, the United States tries, it fails, it puts a blockade on Cuba for almost 60 years, even with that blockade, studies have shown that some of the best doctors come out of Cuba. Okay? And why is Jesse Waters getting upset at Obama for that? The Cuba deal allowed for small businesses to start up in Cuba. So it's no longer a communist state anymore because there's small businesses. Instead of all businesses being owned and operated by the government and the government reaping the rewards, small businesses went into Cuba. And some big businesses went into Cuba as well, opening up the free market, which is what Republicans fucking jizz over whenever they hear. So I don't understand why he's getting upset at that, because Obama literally did what the Republicans love, which is free market capitalism. Now, your vendetta against the Cubans for 60 years can still be a thing, but it's not for me, and I had skin in the game, Jesse Waters. Why are you still upset? You're not going to be able to force people to do whatever they want, okay? So, and plus, half of the problem is dead. Fidel Castro is 6 feet under. I partied that night. Raul is about to fucking die. Why push Cuba? Why? Donald Trump's Cuba deal is the shittiest thing ever. It's so bad. And then the final point. you're upset about Obama meeting with some of these. I'll agree, Kim Jong-un, Fidel Castro, they're all really shitty people. But you praised him for going to Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia has literally done things such as The Nation is reporting Saudi Arabia to execute atheists for blasphemy. They think atheists are terrorists. Okay? DailyExpress.uk, throw her to the dogs. Vile cause for death penalty for woman caught not wearing a hijab in Saudi Arabia. Okay? There is absolute Sharia law in Saudi Arabia. Saudi man executed for witchcraft and sorcery in Saudi Arabia. So, but Trump can go to those people. Those people are fine. Okay? The Saudi king and what he's doing to his people, totally not disobeying international law or any violation of human rights. And Jesse Waters is jizzing all over Trump for going to Saudi Arabia in the first place. So pick your outrage, Jesse Waters. Hold both of your politicians to the same standard. If you're upset about him going and shaking hands with Fidel Castro, you should be upset with Trump going and receiving a medal from the Saudi king. What the fuck? I would much rather be in line with Castro, and as I said, I fucking despise Castro, than the Saudi king. What the fuck is wrong with you, Jesse Waters? What the fuck is wrong with you? But it's all for partisan political gain. Republicans do everything good by definition. Democrats do everything bad by definition. That's just what happens. That's how Jesse Waters thinks. That's how Jesse Waters thinks about the world. Republicans, good by nature, definition, etc. Democrats, bad by nature, definition, etc. Okay, let's continue with this bullshit video.
The Clintons were taking money from Chinese nationals in the 1996 re-election campaign and then selling satellite technology to the Chinese that enabled their missile program to blow up. The media...
I am upset about that too. I don't want my government colluding with any foreign government for any reason. Wink, wink. With intent to go to a foreign government, that is against the law. It's not whether or not Donald Jr. got anything out of the meeting. With intent to get dirty secrets on Hillary Clinton from the Russian government is illegal, no matter if he got it or not. So yes, I didn't like that Hillary Clinton in 1996 went into the Chinese government and paid them millions, or they paid her millions. I don't remember what Jesse Waters said. It's all just verbal diarrhea at this point. But yeah, I'm upset about that too. That's something that should be discussed and should be openly talked about. But again, hold your politicians to the same fucking standard. Donald Trump Jr. and in association, the Trump campaign did something just as bad as Hillary Clinton. But again, Republicans are good by definition. Democrats are bad by definition. Even though that's not how the fucking world works. But in his world, in Waters' world, that's how his world works.
Media colluded with the Democrats, letting Hillary cheat during the debates.
Yes, and screwed Bernie Sanders out of the nomination and quite possibly the presidency. Yes, that's equally as I'm upset about that as well. But like, we haven't gotten to the. That's not something against the Trump family. That has nothing to do with the point he's trying to make. The point he was trying to make in the beginning is, listen, I'm sick and tired of the left calling Trump all these different things, and it's just not true, and they're the McCarthyites. What the media did to the Democrats has nothing to do with Trump. If you're just pointing out how bad Democrats are, then why bring Trump involved in... He started with things that Democrats did that they're upset that Trump is doing as well, that they didn't mind Obama doing or whatever. But this has nothing to do with Trump, so I don't know why this is being mentioned. But yeah, I'm upset that this is happening too as a Democrat. I think Jesse Waters is right on that. But we haven't gotten to the most stupidest point yet, and I think it's coming up real soon.
President Obama palling around with domestic terrorists, sitting in the same church as an American-hating preacher.
Reverend
And then at that point, fucking Trump literally got an endorsement from David Duke, a former KKK member. Listen, the KKK is domestic terrorists, all right? Causing violence for political or religious reasons is terrorism. For a political reason of racism, the KKK is terrorists. So I don't go up there and say, look at Trump hanging around with anti-American David Duke and the KKK. No, he said he was a good guy back in 2000, so I question him. But he also, now again, it took him 3 days to do this, and he lied about it, basically. He said, I have no idea who David Duke is. And then they found that video and he's like, look, I don't like that he endorsed me, but I can't help it. Which is fair. But fuck, man, the KKK is behind your candidate. What does that say about your candidate? He may not have to say, I like the KKK and therefore white people are better than black people. He doesn't have to say that. If the KKK endorses them, they obviously must see that that candidate is pushing a white nationalist agenda more than the other one. So that's a flimsy excuse. It may hold some water, because I don't really like that either, but at the same time, again, hold your politicians to the same standard. If that's what you're upset about, then get upset about Trump taking an endorsement from David Duke, a former KKK leader. But he won't. He'll defend him every step of the way, because he doesn't believe in standards. He doesn't believe in ethics. Why should he? He's a Republican. None of them really believe in ethics or standards. All right, let's keep going.
Undermining the military.
Let me just say this.
Undermining the military? Bush left us in 2 countries. Obama's got us into 5 more. Obama dropped 26,000 bombs in 2016 alone. That's 1/8 of his presidency. 26,000 bombs. Undermining the military? What the fuck? No, it's not undermining the military. We just want to give everybody basic health care, and we'll take from the military, which is, again, we spend more than the next 10 countries combined, 8 of them being our allies. We have 800 military bases around the world. Do you think if we cut back and instead of using 55% of the discretionary spending, according to a 2015 poll, that says 55% of all our spending every year goes to the military, if we cut that down to 45% and maybe reduce the number of military bases from 800 to 700 and instead use that money and reallocated it to the government and the state governments to give everybody basic universal health care, so that system gets rid of the insurance companies, the disgusting middlemen who make profit off of sick people, and that way you don't have to pay for copays or deductibles or anything like that. Is that undermining the military? The Democrats are just as... I just explained it earlier in the show. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton both praised Trump on his attack on Syria because that was their position. They want to go to war with Syria. That's their position. So that's a bullshit talking point by fucking Jesse Waters. It's bullshit. That was all fucking bullshit. Let's keep going.
Giving birth to ISIS.
Oh, and then giving birth to ISIS is the Democrats' fault, even though Bush did an illegal war against Saddam Hussein, overthrew his government, had his Ba'athist second-in-command, Sunni, Wahhabist extremists rise up out of the power vacuum, because Saddam Hussein was not a good guy, but people would listen to him. He had authority. He kept people in line. Without that authority, you had his underlings, his ISIS-light people form together, and out of the power vacuum, form ISIS. That's not Obama's fault. Go fuck yourself, Jesse Waters. Go fuck yourself. That is militarism and imperialism from the Republicans through and through, 100%. If they didn't overthrow Saddam Hussein in Iraq, now this is obviously not a I'm not pro Saddam Hussein, obviously, but I'm also not pro ISIS. So if you had to pick, which one would you rather? I'd pick with Saddam Hussein. He kept people in line. He was a figure of power. People in positions of power only care about one thing: keeping their power. So he wouldn't do much to make sure that people came in and tried to take away his power. But Jesse Waters doesn't see that. Of course he doesn't see that. So that's not the Democrats' fault. That's entirely the neocons and Bush administration's fault. Whether it be Dick Cheney or Donald Rumsfeld or Condoleezza Rice or Bush himself or Secretary of Defense. I think Donald Rumsfeld was Secretary of Defense anyways. I'm forgetting somebody. Bill Kristol, John Bolton, all these people in the Bush administration who were pushing for war with Iraq and Iran. Which Iraq was an illegal war, and all of them should be thrown into jail for war crimes and breaking international law. But they won't be. So that's not the Democrats' fault, you fucking partisan piece of shit hack. That's not the Democrats' fault. That's the Republicans' fault for overthrowing the power in that area, destabilizing the region, and allowing ISIS to come out of the power vacuum. So that's a bullshit talking point. And it's only for partisan hackery, like I said before, and everything before this. Let's keep going.
Lying about a terrorist attack on even...
Kellyanne Conway lied about a terrorist attack. That's not a... That bullshit reason is immediately gone when you bring that up. The Bowling Green massacre never happened. Where was your outrage against that, Jesse Waters? It wasn't there because you were jerking off to the Trump administration once again.
No, let me finish.
How much can we take?
Donald Trump's family has done more for this country than any Democrat elected official.
Yeah.
Oh, any Democratic elected official. FDR. Getting us literally out of World War II and the Great Depression. JFK, for starting to push for, in his 3 years of office, starting to push for the civil rights movement. Lyndon B. Johnson literally signing the Voting Rights Act of 1964. Bill Clinton, the only president to reduce the national debt. So Donald Trump's family has done more than any. Elizabeth Warren, starting the Federal Consumer Protection Bureau, which has literally returned, I forget the number, I think it was $17 million back to consumers. It was literally designed after the Great Recession to protect consumers from the bullshit that the finance agencies were doing. They took money that they illegally got from the consumers, a commission set up by Elizabeth Warren, and returned millions upon millions of dollars back to those people. You're telling me that Donald Trump has done more than those people for the American people? You're telling me that Donald Trump Jr. has started a business and then purposely gone over and declared bankrupt in that business so that he can get richer, forgetting about the people he just fired because he went bankrupt, ruining their lives, making them go on the food stamps that he also wants to take away from people? You're telling me that that's what he's done more for the American people? Fuck, I have never come into contact with the Federal Protection Bureau that Elizabeth Warren set up, but it's made me feel more secure than anything Trump has done. Anything Trump has done in his 7 months of presidency, that one thing Elizabeth Warren did back in 2010 has made me feel more secure than anything Trump has done now. The Voting Rights Act done by Lyndon B. Johnson, Juan Williams goes on a good job here. Oh, JFK, LBJ. I'm surprised he didn't bring up FDR. But those guys, any elected, that's what Jesse Waters said. Any of them, any Democrat in the past history, they haven't done anything that's helped people. Really, what about Jimmy Carter after his presidency? Literally going and building houses for people. Not good enough in Jesse Waters' eyes, but being rich is just the only thing Jesse Waters needs, and he's all of a sudden jerking off to Trump. So this video just proves that Fox News is nothing but partisan hackery, bullshit, lies, deception, deceit, and I'm almost to the point where I'm ready to call it state-run media. They literally do anything to protect the state of Donald Trump, the United States under the leadership of Donald Trump. Anything at all to make sure that they keep Donald Trump as their position of power. It's state-run media. I'm so close to calling it state-run media. It's amazing. Let's finish out this video.
Yeah, really.
He has provided more jobs in the real estate industry, in the fashion industry,
Kennedy,
in the hotel and casino industry. He's created more wealth for anybody in this entire country. So to smear them as mafia or unpatriotic is absolutely shameful. And I think everybody needs to wake up and realize this family is a patriotic family.
And then again, I just would like to point out, under Bush, Fox News would say, if you go against what the president does, you're un-American. Then for 8 years, they went against everything the president did, and they didn't consider themselves un-American. They considered themselves American for standing up against authority and fighting back against a position of power. And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump becomes in office, and they're like, if you go against what the president says, you are an un-American communist. Which one is it, you fuckers? Which one is it? Pick a damn side and hold yourself accountable. They talk about personal responsibility, and if you're poor, you gotta work out of it. The government can't help you. You gotta work out of it. Food stamps, you don't deserve it. You gotta go work for it. Personal responsibility. Get a hold of yourself. Have some accountability in your lives. Hold your own goddamn news network to accountability and personal responsibility. Pick a fucking side and stay on it. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm all for getting new facts and moving your position, because no position is really yours. You just take a position and you should move as where the facts guide you. But there's hypocrisy on this. Bush was in office. You have to follow what the president says or I will call you un-American. Obama's in office. Did we say that? No. Go against what the president says. It makes you more American. Trump gets into office. We didn't say that. You have to do what the president says or else you're un-American. Pick a side. Pick a side. Oh my God. All right. Let's continue. We're almost done again.
What's happening right now is a coup.
Yeah, oh boy.
It's a coup. Sean Hannity the other night. I got it. The Democrats paid that lawyer to send an email to a obscure Trump friend to send it to the Democrats paid that lawyer that then said to a pop star, I have some selective dirt on Hillary Clinton. That pop star then gave it to his dad, which that dad gave it to a relative, a colleague of Donald Trump, which then gave it to Donald Trump Jr. And then Donald Trump Jr. took it, but it's all been 3D chess and mastermind by the Democratic Party to then sit on this all throughout the election cycle, and then 7 months into his presidency, and then release it now. Donald Trump just became the nominee. Hold. Don't release that yet. Hillary Clinton is only up by 2 points nationally. Hold. Keep that under wraps. Sir, we just lost. Hold. Don't do that. No, not yet. Sir, he just elected Betsy DeVos as education secretary, who literally bought her seat, is literally the definition example of pay to play corruption, and is destroying democracy as we speak. Hold. Don't release it just yet. Sir, the news media is kind of... Go! What the fuck kind of conspiracy? That's some Alex Jones InfoWars shit right there. That is some fucking bullshit right there. Come on. People have to agree. That's some fucking bullshit. Okay, let's continue with this.
Against the will of the American people.
The will of the American people. More American people voted for Hillary Clinton. 3 million more people went for the other person than for your guy. So that's the bullshit. He has, Fox News would go up there. He has a mandate. He won. Okay, first of all, Obama won more electoral college and more popular votes both time, and you never said he had a mandate. All of a sudden, Trump gets one of the lowest electoral college wins ever in recorded history and loses the popular vote by 3 million. He has a mandate. The will of the American people, not the Electoral College. He didn't say the will of the Electoral College brings us Donald Trump, and that's why he should be able to pass his agenda without any question, effectively becoming a dictatorship. He said the will of the American people. 3 million more people went up and bubbled in Hillary Clinton's name than for Donald Trump. So what kind of bullshit is that? The will of the American people is against you. The will of the American people believe more for a universal healthcare system, a more affordable college, a living wage, some kind of gun control, pulling out of all the different nations that we're fighting in across the world. It's literally against everything that Donald Trump stands for. So the will of the American people thing is fucking bullshit, and you shouldn't believe any of it. Now, Juan is going to try to respond, but Kimberly Guilfoyle is going to allow John McCain's daughter to respond, and so let's just finish out this video.
You are skating, and you're skating fast to try to get away.
I'm doing figure eights around you, Juan.
You're doing figure eights.
Oh, he's doing... No. Jesse Waters, you're doing figure eights around yourself because you're just so stupid. You're just so stupid. And I would just like the cherry on top, one more final point about this. When Jesse Waters was still working for Bill O'Reilly, there was a segment that I watched and that the Young Turks reported on, and I watched again the day after. He was going after this university teacher that was teaching some kind of relative bullshit about maybe some gender thing or something, or some war that we did. And Bill O'Reilly and Jesse Waters disagreed with the position he was taking and how he was indoctrinating our youth to be communist or whatever. He literally went on the man's private property, and as the dude was trying to get away from him, he went through his garage, tried to shut the door, but Jesse Waters put his foot in to stop the door. That's, first of all, going against private property, and second, I'm almost sure in the eyes of the law, that could be, if you had a good lawyer, that could be considered home invasion. So he literally goes against private property. He's an intruder. So that's the little caveat. You're taking your political advice from someone who breaks the law. It's just this video gave me a ton of headaches and made me, I think, lose a few IQ points, because I can't believe that someone this stupid has a platform that he can go on 5 nights a week. It amazes me. It amazes me. All right, we're gonna take another quick break real quick. I'll be right back. Hopefully you enjoyed me freaking out about Jesse Waters. So I can't believe that he said half the shit he did. I mean, it amazes me that he said half the shit there. So yeah, we'll be right back. We'll be taking another short break. This has been the Political Jargon Show. We'll be right back. So yeah, I think that'll be the end of the show. I had planned for talking about the Senate healthcare bill and the economic plan produced by Trump and how it's starting to unravel itself. But I think we'll save that for another time. I kind of want to keep these around an hour. It's been about an hour, so at least for now, as we're starting out. So this is the first time I've been doing a live segment like this. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This has been the Political Jargon Show for live for the first time, July 14th, 2017. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time. See you guys later. Have a great day.